An intense survival game awaited at the funhouse. Right when everyone had their backs to the wall, Nekomaru was killed. The barrier to the final dead room has been broken, and the ultimate weapon rises from its deep sleep. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, Blind. In the last one, I accidentally pushed that final investigation episode to nearly an hour and a half. I still don't think it's the longest Danganronpa episode I've ever done, but it was certainly a close contender. I think it's the second longest now. Oh baby, that one episode of Ultra Despair Girls. Ooh! Ooh! Anyway, I did say... Actually, before we go into that, when I... I turned the game off because I've taken a little break, and I turned the game off a bit. I realised that, I've been talking about how this game's got that Justice for All, Dual Destinies thing, where it's the second game in a visual novel mystery series that just has a bunch of grammatical errors, whereas the first one didn't. And I realised that on the PS Vita, game selection bit, Danganronpa 2 is spaced incorrectly. It's just one word. It isn't Danganronpa space 2, it's Danganronpa 2. One word. I thought maybe they just do that. But no! Ultra Despair Girls is spaced! What? Anyway, actually, before we get into evidence, because I said that actually, we've got 10. If it's anything like last game, we're only going to be getting, 2 more fragments, so... Actually, you know what? I should probably get lost in thought, shouldn't I? I've had some close calls, in the past few trials. So let's get lost in thought. Oh, yikes. Yeah, these are all logic dive ones, aren't they? Yeah, okay, so pretty much everything else is 6, so... I guess we'll wait till next chapter then. Cool. Alrighty. Set skills. Got a couple more. We need to take that off, don't we? Yep, there we go. Lost in Thought. And Infinity Unlimited Flame. Yep, increases the power of the silencer. Just as tuney as I like it. Okay, let's see. Should we just do it in evidence? Let's review the evidence first, and then I can actually talk about speculation. Because I have not actually put forward my guess for the killer yet. Or, any, well, right at the beginning I sort of gave, the Akane theory, and, ooh, Sonya, maybe. But that was very loosely based on the fact that she was already downstairs, but... Okay. The victim is Nekomaru Nidai, aka Mekamaru, after his robotic transformation. His body was discovered in Great Tower. Head is severely damaged. Despite that, arms and legs designed to come off. Separated due to severe impact. So yeah, we do know for certain that he was hit by something, right? At some point. The pillar is it's weird. The pillar definitely hit him, because, he's been hit by something, and it has his, blood on it. But the pillar fragments underneath his body suggest that the pillar fell and then he died, rather than, the pillar fell on him, killing him. So, that's a bit of an inconsistency. Many of his functions have shut down. Okay, wire. I'm still not entirely sure how this is going to come into play. Again, based on the drag marks there, from his separated, between the two separated legs, Well, separated upper leg and lower leg. Like, you can see, like, the oil swipe there. So, yeah, I'm guessing what I said before might be true here, where, like, it was wrapped around his leg and, like, pulled it apart. You know, like, pulling apart, a Lego Bionicle. You know what I mean? Because they've got, like, the ball joint you can right into place and right out. So it takes a little bit of pulling. God, they were so satisfying. Right. Good night button. I'm, again, supposing that whoever killed him went for this first, right? Because well, maybe, I mean, they've got to have, right? A part of me thinks, well, maybe not, because of the whole pillar thing. Like, crumbs, the stones under him, right? Like, suggests he was still moving. So I don't think it's entirely the case that, like, everything happened after this button was pressed. But I do think the button was pressed and then most things were either set up or done to him. Oil on the floor. Not really sure what this is gonna prove. It sure is his blood. Tipped over pillar. Right. So, this is gonna be interesting, isn't it? Definitely had something to do with the murder. But it wasn't used traditionally as a weapon, because it couldn't be, like, moved. New-looking hammer. I'm sure someone's gonna say, this must be the murder weapon. And we're like, no, it's clean. But I'm still thinking maybe this was used to, like, dent his chest. Because if all the, clocks were changed as we know that they changed. Well, I guess we don't know. But we're pretty sure the clocks have all changed. If the killer bashes in Nekomaru's chest, it's going to be highly unlikely that we can actually get into his clock and prove that all the times have changed. So I'm thinking there. Okay, so the chain. I'm thinking this is going to prove that Strawberry Tower and Grape Tower are somewhat different. Again, I'm not exactly sure how this works, right? Because it's clearly not the same door that opens. But it is the same room. I've constantly, as I went over last episode, had this thought that something else is moving, like maybe instead of the contact elevator, or as well as the contact elevator. Maybe that's true here? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe the tower is also, like, an elevator. You know, in the same sense that the contact elevator is. Like, it moves between the two, thingies. The two... Well, it doesn't really make any sense, but it moves, like, between the two... Oh, no, then that also doesn't make sense, because we can kind of guess from the fact that Nagito got into Grape House that it's, like, on top of each other, so, like, no, because this is the part that's confusing me, right? Because they are the same building, but they're also clearly not the same building, because they've got different doors. Right? It's like, what we're kind of getting from the Nagito thing is that Strawberry House is, like, floor 6, 5, and 4. And then it goes down to Grape House, which is 3, 2, and 1. Problem with that... Oh, actually, that might not be a problem. It might not necessarily be a problem at all, actually. Because if my thing about the tower being an elevator is true, it could just, like, It can basically just do the same thing as the contact elevator and move around, right? Because the towers don't have, well, I mean, they can't be the same building, right? If Strawberry House is on top of Grape House, both the corridors go in different directions. So it can't be the same building. The tower can't be the same building. So that's what I'm thinking. The interior of the tower, or maybe the entire, well, no, it can't be the entire tower because then the doors wouldn't move. But at least the floor of the tower moves around. Just like the contact elevator. That's what I'm going with there for how this works. But clearly then, the chain proves that the door, like this door, is not the door we use to get into Strawberry Tower. Okay, Akane's account. Oh, that's perfect. She's got the 5:30 a.m. rumble. That's Nekomaru's time of death. Correlates with the time on his clock that we find him. And I think it works with not Nekomaru, Fuyuhiko's account as well. A lot of small pieces of stone were scattered under... Okay, yep, here we go. We've already been over this one. Fuyuhiko's account. Okay, no, his account is when he saw Nekomaru go down at 5 a.m. Okay? Perfect. I mean, really, that just proves that he's alive at this point, but that's great. Okay, 5:30, the alarm clock goes off here. Nagato's the only one who didn't appear. Yeah, we kind of know why. It's because the soundproof room, and, you know, I assume he was in there. I mean, this goes off at the time Nekomaru is killed, but I don't really know why that's the case. Okay, contact elevator. Okay, that's this sort of this is gonna be used as like the it had to be someone in Grape House, and then later we're like, oh wait, if you use the final dead room, you can apparently go between them at will. Okay. I think that's how this is gonna go. Like, this is basically gonna be a useless piece of evidence. Strawberry Hall button. I mean, it sure was broken. Okay, Nagato's sudden appearance. Right, yeah. This sort of suggests that the buildings are connected. Kazuichi's account. Yeah, not really sure how this is gonna work. Because then it, like... I was thinking, like, oh, the contact elevator just turns around. And, like, the buildings are next to each other instead. But that doesn't work with the whole Nagito thing. Unless there's... like a corridor or something you have to walk down. Because I do have to keep in mind, right? One, Nagito clearly isn't telling us everything. And two, this game has always hidden crucial information from me. Like, information that will lead me to the killer. So, there are definitely going to be parts of this case that I don't already know. And we'll have to find out in the trial, so... Oh, wrong button. Okay, okay, clock, yeah. Sort of know what that is. This is the same thing, but I suppose this backs up, right? So, Nekomaru's clock broke with the hands at 7:30, indicating that he died at 7:30. We know the clock couldn't have been messed with because of this. Okay, great. Great. Doorknob. Not really sure how this works. Although, considering that it came off the grape door, this would... Actually, I hadn't thought about this. This would suggest that the killer killed Nekomaru in Strawberry Tower, doesn't it? Because they had to take the doorknob off of that grape door in Strawberry Tower. Okay. Interesting. Okay, okay, yeah, this is the thing about that they aren't the same building as we thought. Okay, back around. Right, that's about 10 minutes, eh? Yeah, I'm still not certain. I'm actually less clear on this one than I was in the last chapter. Like, I am genuinely unsure of how all of this went down. Though, I do have a suspect. Kind of. Ultimately, we've only really got 4 options, I think. Because Hajime, Nagito, and Chiaki have plot armor, and Fuyuhiko just feels too important, you know? Like, he's the character who is developed a whole ton. I'm pretty sure he's gonna survive, right? Which leaves Akane, Sonya, Kazuichi, and Gundam. Now, on one hand, Gundam and Kazuichi do kind of have an alibi with the clock thing. Even more so considering that we're pretty confident in saying that Nekomaru died at 7:30. But considering that this whole thing seems to be a little more complicated than what is on the surface, and based on what Nagito said, we can't really rule them out entirely. Especially in Kazuichi's case, considering the fact that a lot of this case revolves around machinery. Akane, I've sort of already said my piece on, but if you're just jumping into a trial episode and you haven't heard, my whole thing with Akane was just, oh, maybe she fought Nekomaru, finally beat him, but didn't really realize what she was doing or what she'd done. She pushed him too far, and then he breaks basically by the end, and she doesn't really know that she's the murderer. But yeah, and Sonya has kind of been a suspect in almost every single case. But to be fair, I think she's the least likely this time. I just don't... I mean, we saw her, right? Just before we found Nekomaru's body, I don't think someone with that mental state could have killed Nekomaru. Especially not Nekomaru, you know? So, of the 3 we've got there, Akane and Kazuichi, ironically enough, it's actually Gundam I'm the most worried about. And it's not for any evidence reasons, right? It's not, at all. I am, however, very, very, very conscious of the fact that in the opening movie cinematic thing to this game, we 100% were shown Gundam's execution. 100%. I was holding out hope, right? Haha, hope. Because in Ultra Despair Girls, we had some cutscenes that followed the execution art style, right? This game has had one, I think, off the top of my head. It's the one where, right in at the end of the prologue, where Monokuma brews through Monami and Hajime's cheek is cut, and then that's quickly forgotten about. That's really the only time a cutscene has been used in this game outside of the executions. And I know from the Danganronpa 1 intro that they do not shy away from including executions. Granted, they hid Celeste's execution very well. They include, the build-up, but then pretty much as soon as you get to her feet, it, switches away. Which is, great. You can you have that movie that you can use, but it doesn't super give away who the killer of that particular trial was. Great. But we definitely saw Gundam. Absolutely. And my fear is that this case is going to be exactly the same as case 3 in the last game. In Danganronpa 1. This is the case where we're going to clean up everyone who's not a main character. And whether I like it or not, Hajime, Nagito, Chiaki, clearly main characters. Fuyuhiko, clearly a main character. Akane, as much as I don't like her, she's gotten a lot of focus. A lot of focus. Kazuichi, a lot of focus in a completely different way to Akane, but we've spent a lot of time with him. I would consider him a main character. And bam, that's 6. Who've we got left? Sonya, Gundam. I don't think it's Sonya. And I'm terrified about that opening movie with Gundam. He hasn't fit into any other case, and he doesn't really fit into this one either. But I think purely by convention of how I think this narrative is gonna go, I think this is the last execution we're gonna have. Or at least real execution. So yeah, it's not based on evidence at all. In fact, I kind of don't believe it. But that's my primary worry with this one. In which case, oh my god, I have killed literally everyone I've hung out with. If Gundam really is the murderer. I mean, at the very least, he made it to the trial of his chapter, instead of getting, you know, instead of being the victim. Because, bless their souls, Mihiru and Hyoko, I'm sorry. I jinxed your existences, and I feel awful about it. I know I didn't sound very awful about it, but oh, I'm sure you can tell based on my reactions to their deaths that, I feel. Yeah. Also, yeah, and sorry, Nekomaru, I didn't finish your free time events, but I did do them. So, yeah. My bad, dude. My bad. Alright, okay, I think that was suitably long, considering that I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet. I am sorry that this will just be a shorter trial episode, I can guarantee you. But, yeah, I think we're done. I don't think I have anything else to say. So my voice is going to get to have a nice rest for a bit. Only going to need to do Hajime's voice, which is, you know, my own voice. So, yeah. Whew. I think we can get into it. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. We're done. Let's go! Trial. All rise.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Man, Mikan's unique one is really underwhelming, eh? Just like her! Whoa!
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person...
Sorry, you know I don't really mean that.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened.
About Mikan.
That person will earn the right to leave this island.
She's had a really underwhelming after trial, okay?
I'm sure you guys are starving by now, but let's get revved up and raring to go.
I mean, thank you for feeding us, Monokuma. You really didn't have to. You could have just let us all die.
Whoever survives will be treated to a fancy lunch. Guess what? Rabbit curry is on the menu. Huh? I'm not the main ingredient, right?
Well, considering that you're a robot, I'd hope not.
I'm here today because Coach Nekomaru risked his life to protect me.
Oh, actually, there was something else. There was something else I've got to be a little bit worried about. And that was Nagito's implication that this case could be a suicide. And I do think that is possible. Realistically speaking. Because, like, Nekomaru could have done the final dead room. I know he's not, like, the most intelligent person, but I feel like he could have solved the puzzles given enough time. And he probably would not have had to worry about the Russian roulette thing, considering that he took a, I don't know, laser blast from Monokuma, I'm pretty sure Nekomaru is going to be okay shooting himself in the head. So... yeah. So he very well could have set up the whole thing and killed himself, but then we have a sort of, it's not a similar problem to Sakura, but based on I think it's maybe in his no, not maybe, it is in his personality to, like, sacrifice himself for us. But he wouldn't just do it and not, like, tell us, you know? I think Nekomaru would be like, okay, guys. That's not his voice, but, you know, okay, guys, I'm gonna kill myself. Then you guys can leave, you know? I think that's in his personality. But it's also in his personality to tell us. I know he likes to test his athletes or whatever, but in a life and death scenario, I think he'd tell us. So I'm not fully buying suicide, but I have to keep my options open.
I'm gonna be the one who avenges him. I'll definitely find out who the killer is. I'm definitely not tempted by curry. Got it?
Good. Stop, Akane.
Akane, you seem to have an impressive amount of drool flowing from your mouth.
Well, at least you gave us a good Sonya line in response.
Why don't we try going over the incident? We weren't able to leave Strawberry House, so I want to make sure we get a detailed understanding.
It's fair enough. A repeat of breaking down the case.
I discovered Nekomaru's body a little before 7 a.m. I headed over to Grape Tower for Monokuma Taichi and found the body there. Hajime and Chiaki were also with me.
Correct.
Hajime was with Miss Sonia and Chiaki that early in the morning?
Not now, Kazuichi, but yes.
Tell me you three were together since last night!
Imbecile! I am not some woman with flexible legs.
I think I know what you're trying to say, Sonya, but I don't think that's the phrase for it.
Of course you're not. You're much classier than that.
Although she does not possess the blood of a virgin.
Legs like those. I could probably do the splits real easy.
We just happened to run into each other on the first floor of Grape House and went to the tower together.
And then, the three of us discovered Nekomaru's body. The body discovery announcement was made soon after. Akane heard that and rushed over.
We heard the body discovery announcement too, from Strawberry House, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
As I recall, we found out the elevator was out of order, which left us stuck. So we decided to go to the tower for the time being and headed for Strawberry Hall. But someone even broke Strawberry Hall's door button. We couldn't go anywhere because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking we should at least find some method to communicate, we set our sights on the lounge telephone.
Cool. I mean, yeah, we know all of this. All of this.
Intros. Let's talk about the killer.
Well, hold your horses, Akane. We need to get all our facts straight first.
Anyway, it's definitely someone from Strawberry House.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, well... Honestly, I do appreciate that this case has been set up so that it could still be anyone.
Definitely.
Sort of the same as last case, right? Where, I mean, yeah, as soon as you put the pieces together, it could be no one but Mikan. But here, I mean, until we get to the clinching evidence, it's open to pretty much anyone.
There's no way a chick would kill someone so cruelly.
Alright.
So it must be one of you Strawberry House dudes.
Well, it could have been Hajime.
One of you better hurry up and confess, or I'll break all of you in half.
Oh, wait! I just was thinking about that there. All the boys have, to a degree, alibis, right? Because they were all together when Nekomaru died, basically. At, 7:30. We can actually rule Sonya out from being the killer. Because in that case, Fuyuhiko saw no one go past him. So no one could have come back. Which accounts for all four of the boys in Strawberry House. and Akane came down after us. So, Hajime, Chiaki, Sonya, they were the first 3 people to find the body, so we can actually use the body discovery announcement this time. Nice! Okay. Fuck. Sorry, Gundam. You are literally my only suspect now. I mean, I do suspect... Kazuichi is still on the table for me, considering the sheer amount of tech or mechanics used in this case. And I do still have my Akane thing, but I don't know if they're really going to go through with that, especially considering that this case required a lot more intelligence than she's got. So, I'm thinking, well, I actually have to agree with her here. I'm thinking that Gundam and Kazuichi are the most likely then.
You're the cruelest one here.
Now, enough with the lovers' quarrel. We need to think about this seriously.
Think you misread that one, Chiaki.
We don't have the luxury of discussing irrelevant things. The incident this time has many questions.
Very true. Actually, I compared Danganronpa 1's case 3 to an Ace Attorney case. I think this one gives off some real Ace Attorney vibes too. Both of which in a good way, by the way. I don't mean that as a negative.
The incident notwithstanding, I also have many questions.
Then let's start with something even Miss Sonia can understand. The weapon.
Wow, even? Jesus.
Well, the weapon is obvious, right? What the heck, you guys? The weapon. You can totally tell just by looking.
You can tell what the weapon is just by looking. It wouldn't be much of a mystery if that were true. The only thing at the crime scene that looked like a weapon was probably... wire, oil, tipped over pillar, new-looking hammer. I mean, I'm gonna... imagine... well... let's move. I know what I think the weapon kind of is. Oh shit, wait, what I should be doing.
The weapon was right there at the scene of the crime.
Ooh,
Killer, huh?
that is faster, eh?
No, the hammer.
Okay, oh no.
The killer used that hammer.
I thought we were gonna have to do the Ace Attorney thing where I
Beat the crap out of him.
present my own
If it
evidence
was unexpected, I suppose that is possible.
and then contradict it like a second later.
It was a surprise beating. The weapon is decided.
Ha ha ha. Bunch of Nagitos. The hammer in the tower was the weapon. Like he said, it looks like that's the case, but...
I guess we should figure out the weapon first.
okay, I'm gonna need to
The weapon
see that
was
one
right
again,
there
to
at
be
the scene of
honest.
the crime.
That pillar, huh?
No, the hammer. The killer used that hammer
Mm-hmm.
and beat the crap out of him.
If it was unexpected, I suppose that is possible.
That's right. It was a surprise beating. The weapon is decided.
Okay. I think it's going to be the hammer anyway. The fact that it's,
Figure out the weapon first.
spotless. Yeah.
The weapon was right there at the scene of the crime.
Oh,
Killer, huh?
pressing the wrong
The
thing.
hammer.
Okay.
The killer used that hammer.
Get ready, Mahiro. You're about to help me here.
Beat the crap out of him.
Boom! Yeah!
That's wrong.
That would have been real embarrassing if I'd got that wrong. And it was like, oh, the pillar. No, because that has blood on it or whatever. But,
No, I can't accept that that hammer was the murder weapon.
yeah. Because, I mean, you could get away with it, like, not being... or being the murder weapon, but not getting blood on it. But, considering that the pillar does, that's sort of what makes it unlikely to me.
Why not? Why can't you accept it? A lot of oil was flowing from Nekomaru's body, just like human blood, right? The hammer was used to beat Nekomaru. You'd expect some oil to be on it, at least.
Or if it beat his head, yes.
But that hammer was clean. So that's why you can't accept that it's the murder weapon. Well, yeah, but the killer might have wiped off the oil later.
Why?
Well, obviously, to make the hammer look like it's not the murder weapon.
Well, if they did that, then why would they leave it there, you know?
Why bother cleaning the oil? If they didn't want it to look suspicious, they would have discarded the hammer.
You're pretty insightful, baby gangsta.
Baby gangster? Me? Just so y'all know, I was trying to test you guys.
It's alright, Kazuichi. It's, yeah, again, a necessary point we have to
I
discuss.
thought maybe you guys mistook the hammer for the weapon or something.
It seems that was a
Again, it's important to clear these things up, you know.
What was the real weapon used to murder Nekomaru?
That's the problem. There wasn't anything else at the crime scene that looked like a potential weapon.
Yeah. I think a big point for me here, as well as probably for this case, is figuring out how this pillar was actually used, you know?
How about we look at it from a different angle? If it doesn't have oil on it, it's not the weapon. So whatever has oil on it must be the weapon, right?
Of course, he was killed by the floor! The actual weapon has oil on it, but if it's not something, broken pillar.
I see. The only thing with oil on it is that broken pillar.
Then that pillar is the weapon. Coach Nekomaru got clobbered with that pillar.
See, I do and don't agree, Akane. I do think the pillar had something to do with it, but he wasn't hit with it.
Nobody could withstand a blow from that pillar.
I mean, true.
Even if you used 100% of your muscle strength, it would be impossible to wield it as a weapon.
Also true.
Why?
We tried to move it, right?
Yeah, you were there, Akane. Come on. It's no use. It's barely budging. Didn't I tell you?
Yeah, that pillar was pretty freaking heavy. But there's one dude who could have lifted that pillar.
Huh? Who are you talking about?
Coach Nekomaru's robot body. With that dude's super strength, lifting a pillar would be real easy.
Again, you're right, and I mean, now I almost feel like we're going to start going with the angle of a suicide, which, you know, does sort of indicate that it's not going to be a suicide, but yeah.
So, he lifted the pillar.
Yeah.
And then what? Did he use it to feed himself?
He just did, well, what's that Scottish sport called? He just did that thing where they throw the pillars and see how far they can lob them. But Nekomaru just accidentally did it wrong, and when he, instead of throwing it directly in front of him, he threw it directly up, and it just, came down and hit him.
Nekomaru killed himself?
Don't be stupid. He ain't the type to commit suicide.
Then even if Nekomaru could have lifted that pillar, it has nothing to do with the case at all.
Well, I guess you're right.
What the heck?
But yeah, it does bother me a little. That word. Suicide. Oh, man. By the way, the fourth murder of the killing school life was apparently ruled as suicide. Huh? No, that shouldn't matter. There's no way Nekomaru would commit suicide.
That's a problem. If it's not the pillar, then there's no other weapon we can think of.
There may be a way to use the pillar as a weapon without lifting it.
What are you thinking, Sonia?
For reals?
For reals, Akane.
Yes, for real.
For reals.
I see. So my gut was right after all. All right, it's up to you, Sonia. Prove that pillar was the murder weapon.
Understood. Then I shall give it my all. Sonia, here I go!
Let's go! Alright, come at me, Sonia. What do you got? What's your hypothesis? Wire, goodnight button, oil on the floor, tipped over pillar, chain, pillar fragments. Broker is probably going to be pillar fragments, I think. If she is going to... The one thing I suggested is we was tipping it
No
over.
need to lift that pillar.
So, we know that, well, I mean, it obviously fell over, but...
Beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What did I say? Don't interfere, hamster.
They aimed right for his head and bullseye.
Even I could probably
Oh,
tip it
shit.
over. Considering the pillar's weight, it probably exerted a ton of force.
Sonia, you go, girl. I'm getting hella excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the fragments, then. The killer murdered Nekomaru by tipping over the pillar. Is that really it? Also, like, logically speaking, he'd just move out of the way, wouldn't he?
If the pillar was not lifted,
Pillar fragments, there we go.
beating him with it is beyond a dream.
Hammies.
Not tipping the pillar over.
Oh, shit! Oh, I let go of the button. Oh! Oh! There we go! Got there in the end. Thanks for that increased focus,
Crushed by the pillar. There should have been
Usami.
fragments on top of his body.
yeah, would have been fine if I hadn't accidentally lifted my finger off the button in the first place. But yeah, I still don't... Because this was my thing, right? Like, this exact problem was my problem with the pillar killing him. It couldn't have because the fragments were under him, but it kind of has to have because it's got his oil on it. So, like, how does this all work?
The pillar fragments were scattered beneath Nekomaru's body, but there weren't any on top of his body. If the pillar had been tipped over and crushed it, the fragments should have been on top of his body instead.
I mean, I guess it could, like, hit him from behind, and then he would have fallen backwards, and that could have worked, but... yeah.
I briefly considered that too, but it's probably not what happened. I see. That was entirely my bad.
Actually, that's, again, beyond just being a good thing to talk about, that's, it's a good theory, though.
Didn't tip it over. Then how
So,
did the
good
killer
on you,
murder
Sonia.
Nekomaru with that pillar?
How much longer are you gonna focus on the pillar? Just let it go already.
There's no way I can let it go. I'm positive that Nekomaru was killed by that pillar.
Why are you so certain about that?
I just have a feeling.
I mean, the oil is a pretty big... Whoa!
A feeling, huh? That's just your instincts. But we can't say for sure that that instinct is wrong, can we?
Yeah, well, you know when Naido speaks up. Huh?
There's another way to use that pillar to kill. You guys just haven't noticed it.
Ho ho ho.
Is that true?
Then I shall ask you, what way is that?
You guys, the same as usual. You're unable to clear a path to the future with your own powers, so you just stand there and falter. What a waste of talent. And you all intend to fight the Future Foundation? You make me laugh.
Excuse you, Nagito. Can't say the same for everyone else, but at the very least, Hajime and Chiaki have been trying to push forward. They kind of lead these trials around, and as much as I might not like to admit it, Akane has been trying to push us through here. She's just done it very poorly. Sonia and Kazuichi helped as well, so fuck you, Nagito. Get off your fucking high horse. That condescending look on your face.
What did you say? Regardless, it's not like I want to die with the rest of you. So I guess I should lend a hand.
Good God, what a prick.
Hey, Nagito, what the hell happened to you? How come you're not talking like a lunatic anymore?
Oh, he's talking like a lunatic, just a very different kind.
I've learned a valuable lesson. Ignorance is by far the greatest shame. Huh? What do you mean?
Who cares? Just tell us how the pillar was used to kill.
Well, first of all, the pillar itself is not enough.
Okay.
But when combined with a specific item, there's a way it could be possible.
Mm?
A specific item?
Of course, the ultimate weapon.
Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe the ultimate weapon's not a piece of information then, as I suggested.
Ultimate weapon? Isn't that a thing you get when you clear the final dead room?
So, Nagito knows what the ultimate weapon is?
Of course I know. But I'm pretty sure everyone else has seen it, you know?
Really?
You've seen it?
That's right. You've seen it clearly. Because I, the one who has claimed dominion over evil and the ultimate weapon,
Not now, Gundam.
I am he who cuts the insolent catalyst which flows out from the chaos with the sword of victory.
Gundam, you should have said this earlier. It was when Monokuma first brought up the idea you could have done this. Now we need to get serious, Gundam.
It's only fitting that I deserve to be called the ultimate weapon.
I mean, it would serve an edgy chumbio like you just fine.
No, you are far greater than the ultimate weapon, since you wield your 4 dark devas of destruction.
Ultimate weapon. Woo!
I see.
Okay, I mean, oh, I can never stay mad at him. I wasn't mad in the first place, but God, he's so cute.
I don't know why, but I'm not liking this.
Oh, you know, Kazuichi's voice actor, man, real good.
Bullshit and say it clearly. What is the ultimate weapon? In order to clarify that, we first need to solve the secret of the funhouse.
And what is that, Nagito?
The secret of the funhouse?
You still don't realize it? Jeez, get it together. You're supposed to be the symbols of hope, aren't you?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're the only one who's ever called us that, but yeah, I guess.
Forgot. Except for Hajime, of course.
Wow! What a dick.
Except for Hajime? If we make it out of this, I'll explain it to you guys.
Anyway, we must first clarify the secret of the funhouse, right? Then I think it must have something to do with the structure of the funhouse.
I think that's another good shout, Sonia.
Strawberry House leads to Strawberry Tower, and Grape House leads to Grape Tower.
Oh ho ho, does it? Well, I mean, yeah, it does, but
In actuality, they are both the same building, and both houses are linked to the central tower.
That's why I'm gonna disagree with you.
It is undeniable that such a sweet building structure is the secret of the funhouse.
Man, not only does that make perfect sense, but Miss Sonia's beautiful voice is just so soothing.
Actually, Kazuichi and Sonia, we seem to have a suggestion that no, it is not that simple. Also, geez, I've only just noticed that the portrait like thingies are so low res compared to everything else in this room.
Oh, show. I shall leave this matter to your discretion.
Oh my god. It's such a simple joke character idea. But my god, am I in love with it. The two houses are connected to the tower in the middle. I thought that at first too, but I ended up finding proof that completely contradicts that. And the chain, right? It's gotta be the chain. Chain on the door. Wire. Goodnight button. Tipped over pillar. Fuyuhiko's account. Wall clock. Bruh. Okay. Maybe not. Broken doorknob? Or maybe not. Let's see.
True, Strawberry Tower and Grape Tower
Might be an absorb, I guess.
same place.
No.
So that's the secret of the funhouse.
Is that really it?
I disagree.
Say they're both the same place. I mean, the walls are different colors.
Oh, okay. No, Akane.
Signs on the floor are also different.
Very true.
Already settled this problem. Give it 10 years before you argue with Miss Sonia.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to... it's gonna be... This whole time we've been thinking the two towers are the same building, but... That was the only mystery. There's no way Nagito would mention it here. Good shout. Okay, so it's not the wire. It's not the goodnight button. It's not the tipped over pillar, I don't think. Fuyuhiko's account, wall clock. Might be the broken doorknob.
It's weird to say
What exactly is the strange feeling in the tower again? Oh, it's this. Okay, this sort of compiles it all together, right? I didn't actually cover this, I don't think. But considering the fact that Nekomaru's body, well, everything moves, it kind of can't be the same thing, right? I mean, it can be. It could be a situation... If it wasn't for the chain, it could be a situation where the floor just, like, rotates around. I don't know why that would be the case, but it could just do that.
they're both the same place.
Okay, so it's strange feeling in tower on Sonia's one. I think that's like the third statement. Statement? Statement?
We've already settled this problem. Give it 10 years before you argue with Miss Sonia.
Oh, sorry, Kazuichi, I'm about to argue with her. This whole time, I've been thinking the two towers are the same building, but I've already read this. I don't need to read it again.
In truth, Strawberry
Okay.
Tower and Grape Tower are actually the
Oh,
exact
oh, got it. Okay.
No, that's wrong.
Woo! I'm gonna mess that up again.
Both of those towers, are they really the same place?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards no.
Why are you asking that now? Do you harbor a grudge because my kingdom destroyed your homeland?
Sonia, I thought you loved Japan.
Hajime, I won't Tower from Grape Hall. Nekomaru's body was in front of the door to Strawberry Hall. But when we went to Strawberry Tower from Strawberry Hall, his body was in front of the door to Grape Hall.
It's probably some kind of trick, like the floor rotating 180 degrees or something.
I mean, again, that could be the case, but that seems really pointless.
Then see? That means it could have passed as the exact same place, right?
If so, then what? Do you seriously think such a simple answer is the correct answer?
It's more like a pointless answer, but yeah.
Wrong? Oops, I guess I've said too much. If the floor didn't rotate, then that means we need to think about the structure of the building again.
Bow down.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello, Sonia.
And how about this? Somebody moved Nekomaru's body.
What?
Well, we were moving from Grape Tower to Strawberry Tower, but we should have all been together during that time. Even if they tried to move the body inside the tower.
Then Monokuma did it.
What?
While we were moving, Monokuma quickly moved things around.
I mean, it is probably a good idea to bring up this fact, but Monokuma doesn't really do anything, you know?
Nekomaru's body wasn't the only thing moved. Are you saying the broken pillar was moved too?
If it is too heavy to carry, let them roll it.
I mean...
Just like if there is no bread, let them eat cake.
Sonia, I wouldn't say that. Well, I wouldn't go with that one if I were you. That has historically not ended very well. Oh god, there's so fucking many. Hold on.
There are
Oh,
many
God.
different ways.
I'm not really... Okay.
The body and the pillar could have been moved. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Come on. Spam! There we go.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not like we were gone for very long.
Forgotten.
Oh god!
Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the futuristic Robo-Bear. The pillar, the body, everything at the crime scene. He could have moved it all easy as pie.
Oh god. Okay, no, there's definitely a hole in what she just said. I need to show her the evidence that contradicts that. Okay. Oh god, that's gonna be hard. Okay, well, we'll just fend her off for a bit.
Things you have forgotten.
Oh,
Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the
okay.
futuristic Robo-Bear.
Then we oil on the floor,
The body,
tipped over
everything at the
pillar,
crime scene.
new looking hammer, chain,
Moved it all easy as
oh,
pie.
cool fragment. Oh wait, hang on. Because we actually mentioned this. We mentioned this. Okay, yeah, no. It's oil on the floor. That's how this plays in. Because we mentioned this in last episode, actually. Something about... The characters mentioned it, not me. About the oil on the floor. You can't move a stain, you know?
Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the
Broken
futuristic
doorknob.
Robo-Bear.
Wire. Oil... No, fuck!
The body, everything at the crime scene.
Please! Mechanics! Fuck. I missed.
It seems you have forgotten.
Oh,
Monokuma is
God.
surprisingly strong.
The control scheme is a little hectic in this one.
The pillar, the body,
I
everything at the
really...
crime scene.
Boom!
Allow me to cut through those words.
Yeah, okay. That was, yeah, I haven't really thought about that too hard, though.
Body and pillar is possible, but it would have been impossible to move the oil on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, something else I didn't really think about, but also didn't really need to think about it, because I hadn't even brought up the fact that that could have been a possibility, I guess. Which is why I didn't. Okay, maybe it was just stupid then. Never mind. God, though. The fucking rebuttal showdowns are real, tricky. I like them, though. They're a lot of fun in that, like, difficulty, but good God. Too many truth blades.